Good to
Beautiful.
go.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for being patient and joining me here today. Basically, all new faces, which is really awesome. So, if you are new here, then this is the 40K Formula Workshop. And basically, we're just going to be going through a lot of strategy on how we help Aussie-based e-commerce businesses to grow. So, there are a couple kind of things that we want to just kind of get straight from the start. And that is going to be kind of just lock in for a little bit, guys. I know it's Wednesday afternoon. We're probably doing a lot of kids runs and things like that. But if you can just try and put away the next 60 minutes, sometimes they go 60 to 80 minutes, roughly, depending on how the audience is going. But if you can try and put away that kind of time, guys, it'll get you the most out of the next hour or so. But if you have kids and things in the background, no worries, guys. It's completely fine. Like this is, it's part of everyone's life. So no stress there. And a lot of you do have webcams on, which is really great. If you haven't and you can, please do turn it on. And lastly is a lot of you already have, which is awesome, the chat function at the bottom of Zoom. We do try to be very interactive in these sessions, and we are going to encourage you to interact. So the chat box is how you're going to do it at the bottom. So if that all makes sense, guys, and we're good to go, can you just leave me a yes in the chat, and we'll kind of kick things off. Chris, you're going to have to let me know if we're getting comments. People, yes, 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 yes. Perfect, guys. All right, awesome, awesome, awesome. We'll try and run through the starting bit, but we do have to go through a couple of things. So there are some goals that I want you guys to leave here today. And that's going to be one is going to be how to turn browsers into buyers. And really what this is, it's about creating a website that is actually built to convert. And when we say convert, we're talking about conversion rate. That is literally, say if 100 people came to your website and one bought from you, that's a 1% conversion rate. And what we really try and focus on is how to create websites that are going to convert as high as possible, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8%, so we can build very profitable businesses. The second bit is, I know a lot of people here have probably tried to run a business previously, or they're currently running ads and they're not working. You're not getting profit back from it, or maybe you've worked with agencies who tried to kind of run ads for you and just weren't able to get results. We're going to go through why that might have been the case and how to really nail these results moving forward. And lastly, I want you guys to be able to leave with a really solid plan. I know a lot of you guys I spoke to previously are kind of feeling a little bit overwhelmed. And what I want you to do is, by the end of this, to really understand these are the things I need to be focusing on in order to grow my business. So we get really clear on what the next steps are for you. That's a big goal of ours here. And a lot of the times when we speak about this session to people, they kind of have a couple of questions about, you want to spend your precious time with people. You want to make sure it's going to be effective for you. And people want to know, is this going to work for me? So usually that kind of breaks down into, will it work in the niche that I'm selling in, like the types of products that I'm selling in? And, long story short, yes, if it's an e-commerce business, if you're selling products, then what we're going to teach you is going to be relevant. The only time it might not be is if you're in kind of a taboo industry, like the adult industry or something like that. It kind of makes a couple more loopholes that we're not that clear on. So we keep it kind of outside of that realm. But if you are, then perfect. And is it going to work at my size? I know we've got a lot of people here who are kind of, in the more beginning phase. I'm going to have some people as well who are already running a business and they're looking to grow it. So you want to know, is this going to be relevant to your size? And just to clarify with you guys, so when we work with brands who are already doing, say, 50K a month in revenue and want to scale, the stuff that we do for those brands, it's the same stuff that we teach for people who are just starting the business. So yes, no matter what, the principles we're going to go through are going to be relevant to your size. And lastly, is this going to work for me now in 2026? That should say. I think we've got to edit that for next week. Obviously, that's from last December's presentation. But is this going to work in 2026? I know there's a lot of information out there on YouTube or Google, or if you just go sign up for any random course, it's a lot of the time going to be old information, stuff that isn't evergreen, stuff that's not working right now. And just to let you know, guys, everything that we're going to show you is directly from the results that we get right now with the other brands that we work for. So it's all current and it's all working for us right now in a bunch of different niches at a bunch of different sizes. And there is a specific type of person who we want to help, right? It's usually going to be people who are passionate about doing this. And the passion can come from a couple different places. Maybe you're someone who really loves, maybe you make something and you're really passionate about that product and you want to get it out to a lot of people. Perfect. You're someone that we want to work with and we want to help. Maybe you're somebody who just really wants, either passionate about creating a business, you're business minded, or you just want to create a bit of a legacy or a bit of a side income. But either way, you have a strong why and why you want to do this. And that's the kind of person we want to help. A lot of the time, if you don't have that, it's going to be very hard for you to kind of push through the times. It can get a little tough. And yeah, that's basically the kind of person that we can help the most. Secondly, like I mentioned before, you come into e-commerce, it's like spinning plates, right? There's so many things to try and do. And a lot of the time you might end up feeling very overwhelmed. Very, very normal, guys. What we really, really focus on is helping people overcome that overwhelm, like I said before, by mapping out very clear next steps and plans on how to grow the business that help you kind of, it's almost like instead of following the gold, the shiny object, we really stick to the fundamentals that everyone needs to nail. And that's how we overcome the overwhelm. And lastly, if we're being very honest about this, we get into business usually because we want to make money. This is the biggest thing. Money that's not just revenue, it's actual profit that goes home to your bank account, right? Not just paying the ATO, not just paying your staff or the manufacturers of your products. It's actually going to create a stable income for you moving forward in your life. That's what this is all about, and that's what we want to help you do. So this is about Paul, the kind of the head honcho who runs the show usually. So I'm not going to tell you about him since he's not here today, but I will tell you about us quickly and why you should be listening to us. Basically, look, we run two sides of our business. One's called Insightful, where we build high-converting Shopify websites for Aussie-based brands, about 100 a year. So we're in this 24/7 building websites, but we also run what's called the eCommerce Circle. It's a private mentoring community. I would have spoken to a few of you already about this. But basically, this is where we help about, at the moment, 200 brands, all the way from scratch up until scaling to 7 figures per month, on how to grow their business, on every kind of challenge they'll come into in e-commerce. We help guide them every step of the way, coach them, and actually help them with services as well. So that's just to say we do nothing but Aussie-based e-commerce. So any issues you're ever going to come into, we've probably faced it at some point, and we're going to have ways to overcome it. But also when it comes down to just creating that pathway on how am I going to build a business, we've done this time and time again. So the stuff that we're going to tell you is directly from that experience that we have. And Paul himself, I'll give you background on Paul quickly, because he's the one who started all this. He actually started in 1997 with one of the first hardware online stores in Australia. This is way pre-Shopify and internet's infancy, really. And ever since then, he's been entrenched in e-commerce at a very high level, and now he helps other people to grow their brands while he kind of runs his as well. There's just a bit of information here about Paul and what he's been through. But one of the biggest things is, like I mentioned, all the things that we learn from all this experience. This is the stuff that we preach in the e-commerce circle and what we're going to do tonight. So we're not just doing theory here. We practice what we preach, and then we teach that stuff, because that's ultimately what's going to be what works today. It's going to be what is happening in other businesses. So rest assured, guys, what we're doing today is based directly off that experience. And look, I'm not going to hover on this too long. These are just screenshots of some of our clients. It's not that interesting. It's just, these guys are creating real businesses that are making real money. I'll actually take you through a couple stories quickly. So this is Steve. He runs Holdcom. I believe when he was starting with us, he was doing about 50K a month. And these are old, by the way. These should be updated. Honestly, I think he's doing way better than that now. But just as of this screenshot, he was doing 250K a month. So we've managed to 5x what he was doing. And it's very simple. It's just optimizing the website that he had and really nailing down the digital strategy on how he was sending traffic to his website. Obviously, that's pretty high level, guys. And I know there's a lot of people here who are more at the start. Where are those other ones, Chris? If I go to the next, where are the other ones after his Paul and Delane? So these guys, they run, it's a collagen and protein business. Now, these guys were in markets, right, doing pop-ups. And they were doing maybe about 8K a month. And they found that they knew they had an awesome product and they wanted it to get it out into the world more and really start growing their business. And they knew they couldn't grind markets more. So that's where they came into touch with us. And it was as simple as, guys, we really helped them nail that online presence, that high converting website, get really clear on their story and who they were. And then the same as Steve, really nailed that digital strategy and started sending traffic to their business. And within about 4 to 5 months, these guys went from about 8K a month to about 50 to 60K a month. And now I believe they're just kind of like figuring out their life balance. Like they got some kids as well, and they don't really want to grow the business too much bigger, which is, kudos to them. They're happy with where they're at, and that's awesome. And a couple other examples. This is Karen. Karen is, like I say here, she's in her 70s. She's not techie. And back in the day, she was running an Etsy site selling these homemade teacups you can see here on the page. This is her website now currently. She's doing about 4K a month, and she just wasn't able to scale because she was on Etsy, and it was really kind of holding it back. She came to the e-commerce circle. Same thing. We taught her how to create that high converting website, get that really clear brand messaging, and then how to send traffic to it profitably. Now she's doing about 15K a month and honestly loving her business. And she's got some big plans for this year too. And last example, I don't want to bore you guys too much, but this is Jade. Jade, lovely lady, mother of two, full-time job. Like she could barely come to our calls, but she watched every recording. She didn't even have a product yet when she started with us. In fact, I think it was this time last year, she jumped into one of these sessions, didn't have a product. And the same thing I'll tell you right now about products is you find something that you either have experience, authority, or passion in, because this is how you're going to wake up every day and be able to outsell the next person, is by having that authority built into what you sell. She took the lessons that we taught her about how to build a high converting website, how to build a convincing brand messaging story, and then how to run traffic to your website. And now a year later, she's now doing 15K a month, still as just a side income for her while she runs the business. The reason I show you these guys is just to let you know. And by the way, we have a YouTube channel, Chris or Roxy. If you could just quickly get a link from YouTube and just leave it here. If you're wondering if these guys are real, we've done plenty of interviews with, I think, everyone that we've just shown here at least. So go have a watch of them if you're interested in hearing what they have to say. But guys, it's to show you that no matter where you are right now, whether you're starting with a product, without one, or you're already running a business and looking to scale, like there are methods that we can use to help you get there. We're going to show you guys what those are today. And that's really the fun stuff. I think I did skip a couple of slides that I do want to go over though. This is going to help me get an idea of where everyone is at. So if you are in any of these stages, feel free. You don't have to share the number itself. Just share which stage you are. Is it startup? Is it setup? Is it grow up, or is it scale up? That way I can kind of really understand, like, this is what the crowd's at, and I can get specific when I give people feedback. Startup, yep, startup, cool. Startup, yep.
A lot of startups and pre-launches.
Awesome. And that's completely fine, guys. We got set up over there with Thelma, no worries. Scale up for Megs, absolutely no worries. Set up Sherilyn. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for sharing that so much. And I'll try to get very specific for the different levels here when we do give this feedback. But let's get on with things, guys. There is actually one more thing I do want to ask you. So towards the end of this, I did have a phone call with most of you, and I'll let you know. So towards the end of this, if you guys really found it helpful, and ideally everyone here walks away with actionable steps, but if you guys are interested and you like what you saw, I just want permission now. I'm going to ask for a yes if you're okay with it. I'm going to share with you how you can continue to get our support and guidance to work with us in terms of growing your e-commerce brand. So if you're okay with that towards the end, if you found it valuable, just leave it yes, and that way it's all good. If no, then you can feel free to leave anytime. We're not holding you down here. Yes from Carla, yes, and yes, Rich. Happy to get more information. Awesome, Shay. We'll definitely share plenty of that towards the end after we've done all the good stuff. Yolande, Stephen, Karen, NG. I'm not going to pronounce NGA. Chris, Johnny, Melissa. Awesome, guys. Sounds great. I'm just going to take a breath because I've been going very fast to get you guys to the good stuff quickly. So now I can kind of slow down a little bit. So what you're looking at, guys, this is called our more orders model. And it's kind of the way that we're able to get results consistently over and over again in these different brands, industries, sizes, etc. It's because we have this system and we follow this system every time. Now, this triangle here represents three things, and these are the three major things. They're the biggest needle-moving parts of any e-commerce business. When we work with them, this is always what we tackle to grow their brands. And you might have noticed in the testimonials, I gave a couple of hints to what those were, but I want to see, guys, in chats, just give me your best guesses what you think either of these three things may be. I just want to see where we're at in terms of what you guys already know.
If you go to the next slide, Chris, we can play a bit of a hangman game as well to incentivize everyone, give you a couple of clues.
Look, marketing, that's a great start, Karen. It's not technically, is a big part of actually one of these, so that's a good guess, Karen. I'll just count it as a yes. Any other guesses, guys? Sales, scale?
The big hint is they all start with S.
Yeah. Sales and scale, this is a result of doing these three things. Traffic, order value, return. Those are really good guesses, Stu. Traffic is certainly part of one of them. Store, bang. Johnny, that's, yeah, awesome. Store is the first one. Service, that's kind of part of store, but these are all great guesses, to be honest, guys. So this one's store. The other one is something I don't think many people don't usually get this, but it does come down to how we present ourselves on our businesses, where we share something about us and what we're all about. Supply, that is important when it comes to one of these things as well. Give you a couple more guesses, guys. Have your best shot, and then we'll.
One sounds a lot like store. There you go. You land in there. Okay.
Yolande's got it. Story. So we got store, story, and the last one is how do we tactically grow our business over time? Everyone needs one of these if you're going to grow a business, and it also Yep.
There's a hint for you in the chat.
Strategy,
Yeah, there
bang,
you
Jason,
go.
there it is.
Jason's
Store,
on it.
story, strategy. I think if I click right here, it'll, yeah, bang. So these are the most important things, guys, and these are honestly, the needle movers. And it's the things that anytime we work with any business, whether they're just starting or they're scaling, we look at these three aspects of the business, and that's how we figure out what do we need to focus on to grow it. So what does store mean? What do I mean by that? It is simply, it is your website. It is how it is built to convert. Like I mentioned previously, when we build websites, we're not just, these aren't brochures. We want people to, section, yeah, thanks, Rich. When they come to our website, they're not just there to be brochures. They're not there to be pretty. They're there to make sales. We're there to convert browsers into buyers. And there are a lot of ways that you can do this structurally with how the website is built. And that's what we're talking about with store. And we're going to tackle that today when we do a bit of website feedback. But really, that's such a big key, guys. Like the difference between having a 1% conversion rate and a 5% conversion rate can mean your business dies or thrives. Now, the story, the way I like to, this is what we call brand messaging. And the way I like to kind of explain this is, we're all running small Aussie businesses, right? And none of us are Nike. So we can't just send people to a website and just say, just do it. And then they go and buy all of our stuff. It's not quite how that works. The fact is, we're going to be small players with big people in our industry, no matter who we are. And we have to figure out, because they're going to have deeper pockets than us, right? They can spend more on advertising. They can undercut our prices if they're competitors. We can't compete that way. So we have to compete by really nailing the who we are, what we do, and why people should be buying from us. This is what your story is. And our brand messaging strategy, when we do that, that is to come up with the actual words that convey all those things. So then when it's on our website, people come to it and they read the right things and they feel like they're in the right place. Excuse me. And this makes a very big difference because it's all about building authority and trust that the bigger brands have and we might not necessarily have. So that's why story is so important. It's basically going to allow you to differentiate from the competition without needing to splash a bunch of cash. And lastly is the strategy. And when I say strategy, it is really how do we sustainably grow this brand once we have the store and the story. And obviously on top of this is a product. We all need a product that is a quality. It isn't going to end up in the bin in 2 weeks. That's a very big deal. But once we have these things, it's how do we then month by month sustainably grow this business in a way that works for me, works for my lifestyle, and also is growing it to a rate that I'm very happy with. And this is a lot of the time going to be about your digital traffic, about stock, and a lot of you guys had the right ideas there before. And yeah, basically carving out a strategy that's 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months. So we're projecting as we go, and we're staying very on top of the movement of our business. Is the story about the product or the owner? Good question, Karen. It can be about both. So Chris McLean here, Mr. Mustache over here, he's actually our head of branding. So most of the time, I'm probably going to swing the brand questions to him. But a lot of the time, it can be both. And a lot of people aren't comfortable with them being the center of the business. But we do need something that's going to differentiate and allow to connect to our audience so that they're going to be the ones to buy from us. Does that make sense, Karen? All right. So at this point, awesome. At this point, guys, what I'm going to do is I want you to link me those websites again. I saw we had a couple extras. I wasn't expecting so many comments, so it's going to be a large scroll upwards. But if you could link those websites again for me, we're going to get a guest up and we're going to tackle each of these things on these businesses so you can see it happen in real time, just to understand it. So awesome, Rich. Thank you for that. Mooney and Minty. I said yes to a couple others. Who are those I said yes to? I know Meg's was one. I think there's one others. What would depend on what you're selling, right? So it's just shopping. So my story. It absolutely does depend on what you're selling. Everyone is different, but having that brand messaging strategy, that's the important thing. And there are a lot of ways, a lot of different ways to go about it. And I would look, so this is actually a good lesson for everyone. Drop shipping is just a business model. It's simply a business model. It's not a business. That just means that you're buying products from manufacturer and they're getting delivered straight to someone else's doorstep. It's about to create a real brand that's going to last the test of time, not just maybe 1 year and make you a bit of quick cash. You have to really grow the story. You have to build the story behind it that's going to allow people to say, oh, I'm going to buy from these guys instead of just going somewhere else and price shopping. And Ruth was Goddess Boutique. Beautiful. By website, do you mean store? Yes, it's the same thing. Yeah, I have Leadership Wisdom if you want to check it out. Thank you. Just leave a link, Zoom user. If you could update your name too, that'd be awesome. I think it was a Ruth I said yes to, and Meg. So we're going to start out with one of these. I'll probably get up Meg's because you linked it first. But Megs, do you want to come off mute and then just give a bit of an introduction to your business? Megs, are you
Hey,
there? Are you able to come off mute?
yeah, I'm
Oh,
sure.
yep.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you loud and clear. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thanks. Sorry, I dropped my phone and my camera's just screwed, so I do
You all
apologize.
good. No worries at all, Megs.
I've had run Blooming Healthy Studio for many years, but during COVID, my retail outlet got shut down, and I sort of went back to markets again, and I've let that control my life, and I just want to get back to online. So I've sort of
Yep.
taken this website a bit more seriously, but I know that it's just time and love, and I just basically it's doing well for me, but I know that it's got a heap more potential, so I'm sort of
Yep.
here for that factor. And it's
Yep.
enjoyable. I hand make the product. It's a wearable heat
Awesome.
pack. I'm a
Yeah.
pain sufferer. I have endometriosis. It's been a
Mm.
passion. I studied nutrition. It's my life. I really love helping people, and this is a product
Yep.
I've found that's doing very well and very niche. So
Mm.
I sort of I just want to take it to the next level, I suppose.
Yeah, perfect. Well, you're in the right spot. The amount of people that we've worked with, for example, the one that we went through earlier, like go from markets to online. It's always like, in my opinion, like the best people to work with because you've got this product that you've already proven, people like it, and now you just you got to replicate that online, right? Like that's the next step. So talk to me about, you said it's going well so far. Talk to me about that. What does the business look like? Can you share numbers? Are you open to that?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Go for it.
Basically, I do. I was doing three, but I've cut that back down to two weekly markets. I'm lucky that I sort of live on the
Yeah.
Sunshine Coast, and we've got a big market up here that many people might know, which is your Monday markets. And
Mm-hmm.
I really do quite well because my product's quite niche there.
Yeah.
I have just spent 6 weeks in a major shopping centre here on the Sunshine Coast over Christmas, and that was insane. I couldn't have even been prepared for that if I tried.
Yeah.
That's literally worn me down. And
Mm-hmm.
after,
Yep. I know that hustle. I do.
after a very tiresome sort of Christmas period, I just know that there's a better way because basically at the end of the day, I'm sort of filling each week to make this
Yeah.
display stock of mine just look absolutely fabulous, and I just believe there's an easier way.
They
But
look great.
I'm depending on weather and all sorts of things, I can make anywhere from 1 to sort of 3K weekly with markets. I mean, that
Yep.
does sound good going to two markets, but at the end of the day, I'm sewing sometimes up until sort of 10 hours a day
That
to,
is
to get that
yes,
stock.
grind. It's a grind.
So
Tell me about the
there's
online
no.
side. How's the online
So,
performance?
yeah, so online I was with Simply Square, which I do all my market stuff with, and that was a very simple website that I found wasn't converting. So I sort of
Yep.
spent some money and got a design for Shopify, and I really like Shopify, but unfortunately I just don't have time to make
Mm.
that work. So, but
Yep.
I'm very lucky that it's just such a good website for when people that see me at market and don't want to convert straight away, but come back
Yep.
later. I find a lot of mine, when I look at my statistics, is just genuinely people that have either searched the term or seen me.
Mm.
And I've got a lot of repeat customers, which has been lovely too. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's got a huge. I know that it's got huge potential because I've got friends that did do a similar product, and I just need the time and the effort
Yep.
involved to make it work. I believe in it. So
Yeah, lovely. And are we spending any money on sending ads or spending money on ads to send people to the website, or is it all just people who kind of know you and look you up already?
no, I'm blessed in the fact that I sort of it's been all genuine traffic, but
Yep.
I sort of looked a lot out there. There's been a few little mini courses, but nothing clear. I just need that direction
Hmm.
of just
Yeah.
someone telling me what the heck to do, because
Yeah,
I just
absolutely.
find
Well,
I work better with accountability. So
absolutely, and we'll talk all about that towards the end of this call as well. But I do want to tackle some of this, and just let you know, you've actually done a very good job. So a lot of time I look at websites and I'm like, oh, they got everything backwards because you don't know what you don't know. But you've actually had a pretty solid crack at this, and so kudos to you. This
thank
this
you.
looks
Like
pretty nice.
are you using Ella theme? Looks like Ella.
I bought one off the one of those marketplaces that was just highly
Yeah.
recommended. Yeah,
Envato or something.
Cool.
but yes,
Looks like
Either
Ella.
way, it definitely looks good. And here's a big thing for people who are in markets who do go online and struggle when it comes to transferring that success to online. Because this is a bit of a reality that you will come into at one point, Megs, is that right now it's all organic traffic, right? It's all people who do know you already. And that's great for now. It shows you've got a great product and a great business. Now, the next step is going to be to really start growing the business. It's going to be the same for everyone. We're going to have to start putting money into paid traffic, Meta ads, Google ads, whatever it may be at some point. And the thing here is that it then turns into what we call cold traffic. So this is people who they don't know us anymore, right? So the selling on the website, the performance is so much more important. And that's what I want to tackle a little bit is, and this is where a lot of people go wrong when it comes from going from market to online, is when people come to you in person at markets, at brick and mortar stores, they get this experience with you. They get to speak to you. They get to learn about yourself, the brand, what's behind it. They get to even touch the product and just get to learn, like you get to build so much more trust in that experience. And a lot of the time when we have websites, they aren't doing the same thing. They aren't getting the same feeling. They aren't getting the same questions answered. They don't get to know the story. They don't get to learn more about the product, etc. So rather than it being what we like to say it should be a 24/7 salesperson, your website, where someone can go no matter what time of the day without needing to talk to you at all and should be able to get all the information and make an informed purchase. Instead of that, it's usually just kind of more of a brochure. Now, actually, I think you've done a pretty good job. You've hit a couple of notes here, and there's going to be a lot of improvements that we'll go through. But that is typically where people struggle. And honestly, even if you're just starting, this is the way to think about how to build your website. It's your 24/7 salesperson. So if there's any questions about your product, or if people don't know specifically what you do, if it's not clear, then you're really losing a lot of opportunity there in selling to that audience, because they just simply you won't have any authority with them. There's no questions answered. So let's get specific on terms of the website and how it's built. So when we land here, I like the menus. The logo is nice. I'm just going to, general rule of thumb for me, I don't know what you think, Chris. I really don't like these scrolling things. The reason why is because it's very distracting. Yeah, it's very distracting. Whenever we build websites, and I think I mentioned before, we build a lot of websites for brands, it's always a very still hero banner because we want people to sit there and read it and really understand. There's kind of a couple things in there. This is where the brand story comes in. It's the who we are, what we do, what we sell, and ultimately why you should be buying from us and not going to just looking up on Kogan like endometriosis heat packs, basically. So what I mean by that is when we land here, for an example, we've got wearable pack in this bit of heading here. So that, see, even for me to read that, like it kind of scrolls away from me. That's kind of why I don't like these, simply as that. But it says wearable pack here as what we would call your heading 1. Now, that's okay. It is almost there. But usually when we do an H1, a heading 1, we get, and this is the brand messaging, we get very specific on the kind of product we sell and who it's for, usually, or why you would buy it. So I'm going to get up an example. Chris, what's a good website for an example? Boutique Sources, I usually do. Any others? I'll do Boutique because they were also a market pop-up.
They're a big market people.
Yeah, so these guys, Dan and Regan, just so you know, with this, it's Steak Sources, they're ex-chefs, and same thing, they were in markets, they built a website, but it wasn't doing so well, and it was the same thing. We came in, just built it so it converted better, got the brand messaging story in there, and then basically we ran ads, and away to the races they went. And you'll notice when you land here, the first thing you read, and it's gigantic and easy to read, it's chef-crafted gourmet finishing sauces, and then we just use keywords which are our most popular ones that people look up for. So straight away, it's just, this is what we sell. And the reason why we do this is because you'll find it, you'll probably be surprised the amount of times someone will land on your website and they don't instantly know who you are and what you do. And it might be different to why they clicked through because it's not congruent. So they'll just leave. This usually kind of creates a high bounce rate on businesses. So we're like, get very specific in what you do. And then you'll be able to read the H2, which I'll go back to yours. And it's handcrafted in Australia, ensuring premium quality and reliability. Megs, do you see here how we haven't really answered? Like, it's a wearable pack, but then we've also got heat and cold packs. Do you see how, like, in that one page, it's not really expressed there? Like, it's not very clear.
100%. Yeah, completely. That's a light bulb.
Yeah. No, look, this is very normal. Here's the thing, guys. Every time you get into something new, you don't know what you don't know. So then you go and listen to people who do it all day. To us, it probably sounds obvious, so I'm sorry if it comes across that way. But yeah, it's not your fault if you don't know. But you come here and you go, this is our H2, the heading 2. Easy and delicious sauces, loved by home cooks and entertainers, Australia-wide, made with all natural Australian gluten-free ingredients for restaurant quality meals at home. See how specific we get here. Now, these guys do about 60K a month in steak sauces. The only reason they hadn't done more is because they actually can't. They're in the issue of like creating more sauce. How do we get manufacturing done for these products? But they were doing markets at one point about last year as well. And I just want everyone to kind of take note and think for yourself. Is your website, or if you're building one right now, do you know what you're about? Do you know who you're targeting? Do you know what they want to hear when they're looking to learn about your brand? Because when you do build it, we need to put it front and center. And like I said before, it is all because we want to build authority. Now I'm going to go back to Blooming Health and scroll down. So we just kind of get straight into shop, right? And the issue here is I still don't feel like, if you think about if it's cold traffic, that's how you should always think. Is it cold? We're sending this to cold people who don't know us. Have I given them enough to understand who we are and what the authority is? What's the name of the gourmet chef's website? Boutiquesauces.com.
Boutique sauces.
Have a look at it if you want to buy something lovely. I've got some in my fridge right now. So instantly, what do we do to combat this? They don't know us. Well, we go, okay, bang, 5 out of 5, 4.9 out of 5 stars based on 376 reviews. Instantly, we built authority because there's trust. And then we go, we call these brand trust icons. Now, not everyone's going to have award-winning stuff. That's fine. If you do, awesome, put it at the very top. If not, no worries. You'll get there one day. But what we do here is what we call, same here, Ruth, I do want to hear it too, brand trust icons. And this is all about who we are, not necessarily who we are, but why you should be buying from our brand and not going to others. What's the difference maker here? And every niche is going to be different. So don't go look at this and do the exact same thing for you, because yours are going to be different to this. But again, this is part of the brand messaging. We get very clear in the words on how we convey who we are, what we do, and why you should buy from us. So chef-made recipes, heat and pour convenience, all natural ingredients, Australian owned and operated. We know this is important to our audience, so we communicate this. So no matter what your product or your industry is, they're going to have some things that they want to hear and see every time they're about to buy something, and we've got to communicate that. And you'll notice, apart from this one little button here, we haven't prompted people to shop yet. It is all about building trust and authority before we go to shopping. And then when we do, we say, awesome, now we know that you want to buy from us because you're here. These are our most popular products. So same thing for you. Like I imagine, you can tell me this, Megs, I'm guessing these are your popular collections or the things you want to sell the most?
Yeah, I don't have a huge range, to be honest with you, but they're definitely my best sellers. Yeah, I sort of do what you said, but it's down a lot further. So that really does it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah, and this comes to the structure of how websites are built. So you got to think about the hierarchy. The most important stuff is going right to the top, right? Where people would read, and if they just want to buy now, make it easy for them. Put the most popular or most profitable products that you want to sell the most of, put those at the top and let people know what they are. For example, we say these are our best-selling sources. As simple as that. So people are going to know these are best-selling sources. I want this. And you also notice, guys, add to cart buttons, very clear and easy to use. It's kind of a big deal when you build a website. Keep in mind, it sounds mean, but this is kind of like what we think about when we help people with websites is just assume that the person on your website is stupid and don't know how to use computers or the internet in general.
In their time, Paul, they don't have time to think about.
I like to say not so smart, but either way, you're going to build a website that is foolproof because anyone can use it. And that means it's just very easy to scroll through, find information, click a product, and go buy from it. The easier that process is, the naturally higher your conversion rate will be. The more clunky, the harder to use it is, the more drop-off there will be. But yeah, I would definitely go, like, do you have an idea of like what is the most popular or like what you would sell the most at markets?
Yeah, probably that neck one that my mate's got on there.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But I
That's
just
awesome.
haven't put a lot of them on the website yet. And also definitely the wearable ones are my most expensive and best sellers for sure. Yep.
Yeah, awesome. These are such great products. You got to go right to the top, but everything else is quite nice. I actually do like the way you've done that. But that's definitely some changes I would make there. You do have a story here. Awesome. As much as people like don't like putting themselves out there, like I mentioned before, it is really helpful. A lot of the time people will buy from the person behind the brand, not the brand itself. So connecting with them on that level is very, very important. So it's good you've done that, Megs. And invest in company. There's some other stuff we could go through as well, but generally those are the biggest changes I would make instantly right now is going to be those kind of things there. Does that kind of make sense?
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. That's awesome. I can leave now, not, but I'm just saying you
No, up to you. Hey, if
it's a
that's all
large
you want, if you reckon that's all you need, go
no.
for it. Go.
No, I can see the potential in what you guys do. It's lovely to see someone sort of nitpick it from a
Yeah,
complete standstill, because showing friends and whatnot, they're too biased. So this is amazing. Thank you.
no worries at all.
One,
So,
one, one other point, just to
go for it.
cut you
No,
off,
go for it.
Chris. One other big reason we bang on about the H1 and H2 and why they need to have certain words in it, and particularly keywords that say what the product actually is. And as Chris talked about how we've structured this, it literally says peppercorn, Diane, red wine, right? That is for the customer, but it's also very important for SEO for Google, because this H1 tag, this piece of text is coded, the H1 code. This is the first thing that Google will read when it crawls your site. So if your H1 tag is your logo, which a ton of Shopify themes off the shelf, it's just your logo and there's no
Yeah.
words in it,
Yeah.
or your H1 says wearable packs, nobody on the internet is searching wearable pack to try and find a heat pack.
Getcha.
Right. So
Can
if
you
your
guys
H1
assist
said heat
me
pack,
Yeah, it's your logo.
as
Yep.
well if I basically come on board and whatnot? I've had a lot of trouble and some ads shut down due to so-called health terms and whatnot. Are you guys worked with anyone that can assist me with that? Because that's where I've ran into a
Yes.
few
We'll go
roadblocks.
through all that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I
Yeah,
appreciate
cool.
you asking. We'll go through all that towards the end. And just an example of
Yeah,
what Chris is
nice.
saying, because it's not just going to be you, Meg, it's going to be everyone who has a website, or they work with people who have done this before. Like your logo is your H1, which means essentially you're losing that free SEO by having the right words as your H1. That's all we're saying.
no organic, no potential for organic because it can't find your site,
Yeah.
and nobody's
Interesting.
searching wearable pack to find a wearable heat pack, right?
Yeah.
So this is where this is like we talk about the art and science of headline writing, where the art part is things like chef crafted gourmet finishing sauces that sounds beautiful. That's like the just do it kind of stuff, right? That's the thing that goes, oh, I want to eat that sauce. It sounds amazing. But then we go, because we've got finishing sauces, that's a specific thing. The fact that they're chef made, that's a specific thing. And then we list red wine dew, peppercorn. This is all going to tie into peppercorn sauce, Diane sauce, red wine dew sauce, salted caramel sauce, right? All of these words tie together. Then that's why we also then have gluten-free ingredients, all natural, restaurant quality. All of these words combined in this big headline here. Signal Google what this site's about, right? So Google has a really good idea of, and they get a good amount of organic traffic. So that's an important part to consider as well when writing headlines, that you actually have a high volume keyword in your H1 tag and your H2 tags.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when it comes to creating a high converting website in general, it's those two things. It's the structure of your website. Do you have the right keywords, for example, or is it the right structure? And it's the brand messaging. Those two things come together to create that high converting experience. And just so you know, guys, when we build websites, we have what we call our high converting framework. This is just anytime we build any website. So you can go to Roxy or Chris, can you just link insightful.com.au? This is like just a website where we show people the websites that we build. So you can go have a look at some examples similar to this one here. But you'll notice they all, doesn't matter what industry or what niche, they all follow a very similar kind of structure. And that's the framework that I'm talking about. So everything we're going to tell you today is literally taking directly from that. And typically these are websites where we have about 300 elements that we custom code in, and that's what creates the high converting framework. So we just make sure we're muted if we're not speaking there. And I've got a couple questions here. So Jason, what if you're selling over 130 SKUs? That's not that much, but with a particular demographic. Perfect. Then talk about that demographic.
Fine.
You're addressing that demographic in your brand messaging. And Shay, are you working in the AI space as well? I don't think anyone that's working with us has AI products, to be honest. AI maybe I think soon will really be big in like creatives. Right now, we really try to stay away from it. And I do actually think soon enough they'll have a lot. If you get used to using it now, soon enough they'll have auditing where if you don't if you don't specifically say that your marketing images are using AI, you'll probably get in trouble eventually. So we don't rely on it. We do a lot of things organically as a search engine.
Yeah, so submitting to ChatGPT. So that the H1 is really important for that shape, but the bigger part of that is blogs and content, which is a whole other conversation. But this is the type of stuff we coach inside of our coaching community. We've done quite a bit on that AI, but blogs and content. That's really the stuff where you're building that authority, and that authority content is what the AIs are looking for. So that's just a quick cover off on that.
Yeah,
But
perfect.
it's a big
Chris,
topic that we're not going to cover here
we're not
tonight.
going to go
But
dig into that.
that's the short answer.
So Chris has actually linked insightful.com.au, guys, if you want to look at some more websites and go have a squiz there. You don't have to have a blog, it's just SEO purposes. But what I do want to do, Megs, quickly is create a bit of a game plan for you over the next 90, 80, 100, 90, 80, help me do the math, guys, 270, 360 days. If I go back to the Canva, Chris, then there's the slide there, I think, right?
Yep.
Okay. Let's have a look, see. All right, cool. Are you still with me there, Megs?
Sure am. Yep.
Perfect. So this is what I want to do. And when we say game plan, this is literally what I mean. I mean, break down what we need to focus on over the next, now, near future, far future. The reason why is because a lot of you guys do and will get overwhelmed. There is 1,000 things you can be working on in e-commerce. But the reason we break it down into this triangle is because these are the most needle moving things that you can do. So if you know the whole 80-20 rule, right? Like a lot of the time, 80% of the results come from 20% of your actions. We really focus on those things that are going to get you the most results. This is how you build a business to someone who's, you got a full-time job, you got kids, you don't have unlimited time. You do it by focusing on the things that need to be done now at the right time. So for yourself, Megs, I think the next step would be honestly to work on that brand for the next 90 days. I would say keep grinding a bit longer with them pop-ups. Honestly, you probably should do them now and then anyway, just to keep that kind of in-person contact with the community. But in that time, the next 90 days, I think you really need to nail your brand messaging story. That whole story that's going to really nail who you are, what you do, and why people should buy from you. That way we can start putting it not just on the website, but also when you do make social media content, when you do markets and pop-ups, you're saying the same thing everywhere. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, perfect. And then the next thing I would do, so say that's 45 days. The next 45 days, I would completely focus on, excuse me, guys. I would completely focus on taking that wording and putting it onto that website and optimizing those structures that we spoke about on that website. So by the end of the 90 days, you'll have a website that is what we call built to convert. So that's the build it now. This is what you got to focus on. And guys, I'll be honest, a lot of you are going to be very similar here, even if you're just starting with the website now. Because our whole thing is we help mainly small Aussie brands, not people with ridiculous amounts of cash investment to just squander. So what that means is when you do put money into your business, for example, maybe traffic, we need to make sure that it's actually going to give you a return. Whereas if you do it the other way around and you start with spending money on ads, you're going to spend, I think I did speak to a couple of you here who just didn't quite get ads working for you. A lot of the time is because we're spending money on sending people to a website that won't convert them. It's not built to convert. And this is where it goes wrong. And then you give up on e-commerce because it's not doable. So really nail the first 90 days here, the brand messaging and the just the way the website's built. And then after that, this is up to everyone how fast you want to go, but we need to start looking at our traffic. So if you think of it in terms of, if you think in sales in terms of an equation, it's really just your traffic times your conversion rate times your average order value. Average order value, we can't play with too much, but the conversion rate we can bump up. Once we have the conversion rate bumped up, to get the sales up, now we need the traffic. So that's going to be the next step. How can we send traffic to this business? So for you, it might be Google ads because there are a lot of people who are searching on your product, or it might be Meta ads because I can see people seeing creatives of the product and going, wow, I need this. Either way, I would start with a bit of a budget there and spend about 45 to 90 days just getting data, spend some money, get some return on your revenue, and slowly month by month, just increasing your revenue bit by bit. And then after that, it's really going to be about, okay, now let's look at other avenues. Let's look at other platforms to market on. Let's really start nailing our email marketing because we've got the website working. We've got a bit of revenue coming through from the Meta ads that we can comfortably work on the next thing. But it's all about being step by step. Does that seem doable for you there, Megs?
Yeah, definitely. And it's a huge goal. I just moved into a space and I'm very, very motivated. So I just want to start the new year with a really clear direction. So thank you.
Awesome. Yes, perfect. And Jason, I don't have money for ads at the moment. Yeah, perfect. Look, this is a lot of people. And this is why I do love people who go to markets and stuff, because it's a way for you to get your product out there. I know it does cost a bit for a pop-up, etc., but you can start getting, that kind of traction in the product. But even if you're starting from scratch and you just want to sell your product online, that's fine. And you don't have the money, that's cool. There are organic ways to get traffic. Traffic doesn't have to be paid. It's just that's going to be the most consistent way to scale, because you can put money in to get money out. But organic, it's the same thing. You're going to be doing content. You're going to be creating social groups based on the type of product and the niche you're in. And you're going to be finding other ways to get your product out to people until you're able to create enough revenue where you can then reinvest into ads. Does that help you out there, Jason? And I'm sure a lot of people are in the same kind of situation too. Yeah, perfect, mate. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Megs. I hope that was helpful for you. You've been great. And I am going to get on, what's the time? How are we doing for time? Perfect. I think we're doing good. We can definitely do one more.
Really grateful, Chris. Thank you, mate.
Lovely, Megs. No worries. So let's go back. Who else did I have up here? I know a lot of you shared, which I really appreciate. I think it was Ruth. I promised you at the start because you said earlier we do yours. So Ruth, do you want to come off mute and we'll have a look at your website? Just give Ruth a second. Do we know if Ruth is still here?
Oh, just there.
Oh, there we are, Ruth. How are you?
Hi, good. How are you?
Doing really well. How are you liking the presentation so far?
Yeah, I'm liking it. It's good. You got some good points so far. Very good.
Thank you. I try and fit as much as I can into this small time, which is why I speak so fast. But so I'm going to open up your page as well, and in the meantime, start giving us a little bit of a background onto Goddess Boutique.
Well, Goddess Boutique. I started at the markets too. Always been interested in fashion.
Yeah.
Started off on just before COVID, so it was quite a letdown when I actually, started. It was going really well, and then I had to close down.
Yeah.
And then everyone went online, and I had no idea how to do it.
Yep.
So I've been markets 8 years. Open in the shop 5 years. I've actually survived just survived basically.
Yep.
And I just employed a girl who helped me with some systems when I first started to do my website and get me going. She's had experience in fashion and she knows how to market things. And she's saying a lot of what you're saying too, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've had the Shopify going for 5 years as a POS. I've had my website up, but no sales, none. And I never focused on it. Like I think I've had about 50 sales over 5 years.
Gotcha. And why are we focusing on it now?
Because I want to stop doing the markets.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, that's the way.
And
they're a hard grind. That's a slog.
It's a hard slog. It's a very good money spinner.
Yep, of course.
I've worked out what sells, what doesn't, big cross demographics of different areas, and I've kind of honed my buying in that. But I also want to go into services as well, like
consulting for
color consultancy, body consultancy, wardrobe consultancy, and basically what I do in the shop, but personalized. So
we finished Living Silk. Funnily enough, like I think it's finished. I'm not 100% sure, but we actually are building a website for someone who they make I don't think this is it. They make wedding dresses, but then half of the business is also image consultancy as well.
Yeah,
and it's very similar, and it's a great business model. And the fact that you've proven it, that the product is great in person, you're on. You've got good foundations, and it's just about like all the other stories I've said. It's just about taking that and then applying it properly to the online world. Which, given what we've done so far in the presentation, what do you think about what's happening online right now for you?
Well, this has only been 2 or 3 weeks that I've got her to come in, and I'm not tech savvy at all. I'm really good with people, and that's where. Well, what you were saying there was the header. Well, that's not giving anyone. It's kind of goddess wear. I could do something like, plump it out. Is that where the goddess
I'll let Chris kind of touch on this. I actually think it's okay because you do mention that you do dresses, but there's probably better avenues that would be more specific. Chris, you want to touch on it?
One big glaring question that I have for you, Ruth, is goddess spelt with a 1D or 2Ds? Or have you specifically gone with the 1D?
When I registered, I couldn't get 2Ds.
Oh,
right. They kind of misspelled it too, because it kind of looks like it's spelled wrong.
It does.
It kind of looks like goddess. Or
I don't mind the double take of that, to be honest. I mean, it makes you stand out.
That's a good question.
That was my first,
though.
like, did she just put a typo there? Is it actually that's actually the brand name? But apart from that, like, I think like you've chosen one of the hardest niches to run in, which is fashion or jewelry or pet stuff. But the prints and stuff are awesome. Like, it looks like really beautiful clothing. But because you are in a fashion niche, you need to look like a fashion website. Even though you're in this a bit kind of boho-y, a bit kind of off, not like full high-end Gucci fashion, you still need to have that fashion vibe to the website, clean, concise. So you're not far off, but because of the niche that you're in, there's just like there's an expectation that kind of sits around that industry. So a bit of tightening up kind of design wise, fonts, that sort of thing, and a bit of style and kind of aesthetics. But I think like letting the product shine, because the products look like that Sophia dress is beautiful. They look like very unique, very custom pieces. So I think like allowing the product to shine, having things like add to cart buttons, basic kind of pro stuff.
What's going on with my spirited short dress in white and gold?
Look, so I think you're in a bit of a thing here where I think you got great products, and I'm sure the girl you're working with is lovely. I don't know what her experience is, but I think what you really need is to just have like an e-commerce focused template applied to this website to make this more optimized, like the structure of the website. For example, look, it does look a little clunky, and the thing is, when people want to buy from a boutique product, they really want a premium experience because they're spending a bit extra money, and we want that to come across in how the website's built. I'm going to give you an example, and now I know you're not this, but I love using these guys because like they're very high end, and you can kind of get the picture of how you get that feeling of high end on a website. Now, it doesn't have to look like this, but these guys sell very expensive, purses, secondhand purses, luxury handbags, things like this. Now, when they arrive on the website, we want them to feel like they are buying from a business like that. So it comes down to how it's built, how smooth it is, and how nice it looks as well. And I do like, again, you actually have an okay brand messaging story already, but I think it's just the way things are put together on your website and the way it's performing is going to hold you back a bit if, say, was to go spend some money on ads. I think you mentioned that you don't have any sales coming through, and I think a big reason for that, it's not necessarily just the website. It's just that I don't think we have any traffic going to the website. Like, there's probably not enough people clicking onto it. So are we doing anything in that realm? Like, are we doing anything like content or... Gotcha.
What do you mean content?
Oh, like social media content or...
Oh, we're doing that. She started really pushing me on that one. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So we are looking to get better traffic to the website. Awesome. So I think for you, it's going to be very similar to what we said with Megs, where I think you need to optimize the website a little bit with the structure of it and make it needs to look and represent your brand a little nicer. For example, like Chris said, even just having buttons here, reviews, which I'm sure you've been using POS system for a while. You probably have a lot of people you can get reviews from, having them at the top, having a bit more information about who you are and why you're different to everyone else, like that brand story thing. Like, I'm really making sure it's intertwined here. And do we have a story of your own? A little bit more here. Even something like this. No, these are the brands that you sell. Yeah, gotcha. I think you've got a lot of things going on. It's just kind of scattered and not very optimized in terms of the structure. So if I was to then go to say, like, what's your next 90-day plan? I would spend the first 45 really just optimizing this website. We can show you more about how that works at the end of this call, but that would be where I focus. I think you're going to get the most benefit out of that because as you start to put a lot of effort into your traffic, into your social media, you want it to actually convert into sales. Otherwise, you'll become a little bit disheartened when things don't happen, and then it's going to be harder. Honestly, I always find that once people have been hurt a few times, it's harder to get them to have a go again. So I'm like, let's do it right from the very beginning and really smack it. So I would focus on your conversion rate optimization. The brand messaging is okay. As you are in the background continuing to do your social media with the girl that you're working with. And then in the second 45, I probably would honestly do a little bit of work on the brand messaging. I think it's actually okay so far. That's why I'm swapping it around for you. But then after that first 90 days, once we've got a little bit more traffic to our website and the traffic's built more to convert, then it's going to be the same thing for you as it was for Megs. Then we've got to pick a couple, we've got to pick a form of traffic that we might start putting some money into to start growing those sales month on month. And that's going to be like the really big next couple steps for us. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. I still feel like maybe I'm not
So
getting
I don't know what I can do to make that look better. I'm not the person. Like, I don't know what. Do I need
get a high converting template that's built for ecom and get it, and then build your stuff into it, or get it customized if you wanted to really have that vavavoom.
So when you say a high converting template, I just bought this. This is a new one. So what do you mean?
You could use this. This is fine. It's more about just how things are structured in the website. So I'm just using these as examples of where we got to put things. And like I said with Meg, like having the things at the right area, like coming to the top of the page, like if we have our popular products, saying the right words, having the brand messaging in the right spots. It's all very much the same stuff. So I think that needs to be worked on for this brand. And look, I'll share with you at the end of this, because we can't go through every single thing on this one call, how to make a high converting website. But I will share with you in a little bit on how that we can help you do that. But do you have any other specific questions about this? Because I think honestly, that's going to be your steps. And if we can focus on that, then I think your product just needs to get in more eyes. And then once it is, you'll start seeing more sales. And honestly, it's going to be up to you. Usually when we do these things, it's like a 5-6 month turnaround to the point where you might say, I'm going to be done with markets, because you've got consistent revenue online.
Yes.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Ruth. That was really nice. Great products and great idea here. Rich, I see, will all this apply if creating a dropshipping site? Yeah, Rich, I'll just explain again. So dropshipping is just the business model. It's just some people make their own products. Some people do dropshipping. It's fine. What I would say to focus on there is that they are quality products, that they're not going to end up in the bin in 2 weeks. And ideally sell something. It's not just some popular product. Sell something that you might be passionate about. It's going to help you to market this thing. But it's all the same stuff. You got to create the brand message behind that. What does my brand represent? The message sent. Oh yeah, speaking with Rob.
Yeah, so for that generally for drop shipping, unless you've got something that one other seller's selling, generally with drop shipping, you need to go even harder on brand, because that's the thing that's going to differentiate you. So who are you? Are you selling it to a different niche? Have you got a story why maybe you bought it one time and you're like, I love this product, I'm going to sell it myself? There needs to be a story that helps position you differently in the market to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 700 other stores selling the same products. So it needs to make sense as well. Don't do, if you're going to drop ship, really curate the range for a specific reason. Don't just try and build a Temu and go, I'm going to go to a drop shipping thing and just plug in like 400 products and try and sell them, because Temu, Amazon, everyone else will just crush you. Yep. So you need to have that brand presence piece if you're going to do drop shipping. Does that make sense?
Let us know, Rich, if that helped you out, and how your products promote your brands.
Hemp and Bamboo Emporium.
Perfect. Okay. Coolio, guys. Well, thank you so much for hanging around. I am going to start wrapping this up, but there are a couple things, like I said, that I do want to go through with you. So I'm just going to ask you guys a couple things quickly. I want you to kind of get very, if you can, vulnerable with me, and not be afraid to answer these in the chat. But I want you guys to share, like, how confident do you feel on these different areas, on your store, your story, and your strategy? Obviously, green being strong, yellow being needs some love, red being needing fixing ASAP. If you've already got a business, how do you rate yourself on these after hearing this presentation? And if you're just starting or you're still building a business, how confident do you feel in being able to tackle these things? Give me an honest answer, guys. That's the only way we're really going to be able to specifically help you. And I'll give you guys about a minute, so feel free to, I'll let you know next week. Yeah, fair enough, Jason. Yellow, yep, fair enough, Anne. Red, Sunil, yep. And that's completely normal, guys. Red on store. Yeah. Oh my God, so many came through in like 1 second there. We got a very late joiner. Red in store on store and strategy. I need more experience to feel more confident. Absolutely understand. Story. Yes. Medium. Yellow, red. Cool. A lot of reds. Awesome, guys. Thank you for being open enough to answer that. Stu, where store is red, story yellow, strategy red. I feel more confident after this meeting. Building awesome. I'm glad you're able to take it away from here, Carly. Green, yellow, red. Awesome. I know roughly where the red flags are. Perfect. Okay. NGA red. Cool.
Lots of yellows and reds.
Yeah, that's awesome. So
for improvements.
Yeah, and that's good. So guys, I also want to ask you this question. If we were to get you from the yellows and reds to a green on all three of these things, as a business and as a business owner who understands these principles, do you feel like you'd be able to run a successful business and that you could grow it into where you want to be? I just got to know honestly, guys. Do you feel like this is possible for you if we nail these things? Karen, yes. Oh, a lot of yeses. Perfect. Yes, 100%. Awesome. I agree with you. I personally agree with you because this is what we help people do. And this is the repeatable stuff every time when we work with a new brand. These are the things that we tackle. And once we nail these things, this is where the growth happens with loads of help. That's what we're all about. Perfect. Cool. Well, I want to talk about that actually. I want to talk about the help. And I did speak to a couple of you on the phone and I told you, look, I'll let you know at the end of this. If you liked it and you thought this was helpful, you're going to want to keep getting that kind of support. I want to introduce you to something, and this is called our Connect program in the e-commerce circle. So I'm not going to give you all the nitty-gritty details about it. I'm just going to tell you what we do in here. So if you liked today's session, this workshop, we do about 8 of these calls every single week in the e-commerce circle in our private community. And it's not just like today it has to be very broad to give you guys the large ideas. But in each of these calls, they're very specific. We go deep on the website and conversion rate building. We have a call on the brand messaging. We do meta ads, Google ads, SEO, email, a whole bunch of things. Everything that you're going to ever need to know, we really try and cover them in these calls. So in the e-commerce circle, guys, basically you get access to all 8 of these a week and you come and you ask live questions. For example, Chris McLean here, he's our head of branding. He takes the branding calls. And it's a chance where you get to learn every week directly from them, strategies that are working today, but also then you get to ask direct questions to get live feedback. Now, that's just the coaching side of things. And again, if you like the workshop, these are way better because they're way more specific on each topic. The other aspect of it is the community. So let me know, guys, if you've heard of Slack before. If not, it's completely fine. Slack is just like Facebook, but it's more organized. So this is basically where, a lot of you are familiar with it, but if you're not, don't worry. It's kind of like what you're looking at in this screen. This is Slack here. It's just our little organized channel. And basically what we do, this is our community hub where we have about 200 other Aussie-based e-com brands, all the way from starting from scratch up until scaling their business. And this is basically where it's anytime you have any question about e-commerce, instead of going to Google or going to YouTube or just kind of praying and hoping, you come here and you ask questions, whether it's I need feedback on something and you need to collaborate with the other brands who've already gone through what you're doing, or you got to ask a coach a question, or you got a technical issue, or your Shopify store is down for some reason, you need to see what's going on. You have a place where you can always go to and get that level of support. And that is in the e-commerce circle in the Slack channel. And the third bit is just the courses as well, guys. For everyone who this is very brand new to, we have a whole course structure where basically we get you up to speed in all these different things that we teach. They're kind of short. They're roughly about an hour each. But for example, brand messaging, you take Chris's course and you see the process and then you come and learn from him live in the call. Or Paul, his conversion rate course, you go there, learn what needs to go on a website. And as you build your own, you get direct feedback from Paul on these live coaching calls. Or you just ask questions in the channels and get support there outside of those hours. So the idea here is we don't just give you the education, we also give you the support and guidance to go along with it. And our goal, honestly, guys, is just to hold you accountable every 90 days to make sure that we are on top of that growth. For example, that fast path plan call, it's really all about like making sure that we're focusing on the right things. So that does bring me to something, guys. These are the experts, by the way. These are just some of the coaches that you'll meet. This is Chris, obviously, here, who's in the call today. One really important thing about how we do this is the stuff that we teach. The reason it's so valuable and it works so much is because every coach here actually does that service for some of our clients that we are scaling. So everything we teach is directly live stuff. It's all working right now and it's getting us results right now. And that's why we're able to offer such great help. And we're going to give you guys all this for $97 a month. I spoke to a few of you and you were very surprised on the phone earlier today when I told you that price point. And the reason why it's that price is honestly because we want to make it as easy and as accessible for as many people to get the kind of help, that they need, so that when you grow, you're always going to have someone to reach out for the next piece of work, and we'll be there. So we make this as accessible as possible, guys. So it's $97 a month. I'm going to leave a link, or get Roxy just to leave a link for the e-commerce circle just in the chat below. Now, just so you know, guys, this is a monthly subscription, tax deductible. Chris, is that tax deductible? It probably is if you've got a business set up.
Yeah, it's a business.
If you've got the business set up, it would be. But the idea here is, guys, it's a subscription base. If you come in and you don't like it for a month, perfect. You just cancel. We don't lock you in for anything. Obviously, there is an option there. If you want to save a bit of money, get a year's access, you can. But it's $97 a month. No lock-in, nothing. Come in, learn all the good stuff. Come to some of these calls. Start learning and implementing. And by the end of the month, you'll know this is the place you need to be, or it's not worth your time. And that's completely fine with us. But I'm going to do one more thing better. And this is just because, honestly, I find the best results come from people who are kind of more action takers with us. So I want to give you a bit of an incentive to sign up by today. And basically, everyone who does sign up before midnight tonight, we'll see them come through so we know who it is. I'm going to offer a free one-to-one strategy session with you. It's going to be directly with me. So everyone who grabs this now or sometime tonight, you're going to get to sit down directly with me, and we're going to go through much like what I did with Ruth and Megs today, except it's going to be more specific. We're going to do the plan and the layout, but it's going to be more about, okay, now how do you tackle this in the e-commerce circle? So what I mean by that is there's so much stuff you could do, right? There's tons of stuff, but you don't need to focus on everything. Likely you just need to focus on one or two things. And our whole thing here isn't to give you more homework to do, right? We don't want to give you more work. We understand a lot of people here have full-time jobs already. They have kids, they have lives, right? And we want to build our business around our lives. So my goal here on this call is to figure out with your week, how do you make the most out of it in the e-commerce circle? Which calls you need to go to, and what do you need to focus on to see the most growth? So if you get in by midnight tonight, guys, we are going to have this call and we'll get that sorted for you. So we'll organize that. As of tomorrow, we'll probably be reaching out to everyone who is in the Slack channel, and we'll kind of go from there. But guys, this is the place to be. If you are serious about growing the business, and you do like the guidance you got today, and you want to continue to get that guidance, but even deeper level, just to let you know, guys, I'm not the head coach for any of these things. So what everyone has teaches is way deeper than I could have taught you today. And that's the kind of access you're going to get, and the kind of level of coaching you're going to get in there. And ask, what if you don't have a product? Like I mentioned with Jade earlier at the start, we've helped many people to pick products at the start. It's just going to be about coming along, asking questions, learning from the other brands, being around the other brands, and seeing what works and helping to find kind of what is a perfect product for you to sell. So absolutely it is. In fact, I would say I recommend you jumping in if you're still looking for a product. Hopefully that answers your question. But guys, honestly, I've got a couple minutes here, and any questions that you might have, I want to leave this as a chance for you to kind of just ask me. You got me for another 10 minutes, or maybe less if there's not as many. But if you have a question, leave it in the chat. I want to join, but I have holiday in 2 months. Can I pause and start again when back? Yeah, absolutely. If you come in for 2 months, get some stuff done, and then you want to go away, you just let us know, and we'll pause your subscription for while you're away. But just so you know, we try to be very flexible with this level of access, because we just want to get you guys the help that you need. I'm signing up now. Love to hear it, Carly. I look forward to seeing you in there, and we'll get our fast path plan organized. Do you have any tips about working out shipping costs? Guys, so beyond just brand messaging, conversion rate optimization, and digital strategy, there's a lot of back-end stuff, the technical stuff that is, of course, a very big part of e-commerce. We just couldn't go through it tonight. Yes, we offer support in all the technical aspects. Any issue you might come to, the point of the circle is any issue in e-commerce, and honestly, even family stuff. We like talking about our lives too. You come here and you have a place you can get an answer to that same day. Even if it's about your website. We have a tech team, a dev team, who they're busy working all day making websites, but they do sit in there about an hour a day, who can then actually get back to you with answers on, if you're having tech issues, or you come to the conversion rate optimization calls, etc. Whatever works for you guys, we try to provide that. Trang, awesome. Seeing you in there. Lovely. So Trang, that makes sense. Any other questions, guys? Smash me with them. This is what I'm here for. Sounds good. You provide resources and rate cards, onshore, offshore. How much you guys charge to do a website? Jason, we'll talk about that privately. Like, we'll do the fast path plan call because there are varying prices. But just so you know, guys, if you're someone who you're a bit further than this is honestly perfect for anyone up to like the startup and setup phase. If you're someone who's more in the scale up, no worries. I still want you to jump in because what we'll do is on that fast path plan call, we'll talk about how we can more hands-on do the next step for you, which might be for you, Jason, building a website. And obviously, if you pay that $97, for the thing, I'll just deduct that from whatever you pay us moving forward, so you don't lose out. So Jason, jump in, and we'll talk about that anyway once you're in the circle. But I need you all on Slack to start doing these conversations. Yes, Stu, you already answered by Chris. We have the full done for you services. Yeah, guys, this is another really important thing. All these things that we coach in the circle, for example, meta ads, brand messaging, any other service, we also offer these as done for you services. It's just that usually you want to do these when you're a little bit further ahead and you got revenue coming in. But once you're ready to have services done for you, the same people who you're teaching or you're learning from, you're going to actually engage these guys and you're going to work directly with them. So you've already got this relationship. They already know about your brand. You already have the brand messaging done because you've already done it with Chris's process, and you literally just hand it over to them. This is why it works so well when everyone follows the correct path, because we're able to take what you do and just kind of really magnify it by doing the right process at the right time. Melissa, would this be perfect for me? I'm just about to launch. Absolutely. Look, if you are anywhere in thinking about starting and in the middle of starting to already having a brand, to already scaling a brand, anywhere in between there, the circle is going to be the perfect place, Melissa. So I want to see you in there too. And we'll have a fast path plan call as well sometime soon. Sorry, is this Slack page, the course page, or Slack page, the course page, or Facebook? Slack is the community. Sorry, I was using Facebook as an example for people who don't know what Slack is. Slack is just a platform like Facebook, but it's very organized. That's where we host the community. That's all. That's the only reason I mentioned Facebook. It's just an online platform where we share all the channels and give all our assistance. What's the view with using AI? Yeah, look, we use it as tools right now. AI does not run your business, but we simply use them as tools in some places to help the work process. They're tools. They are not the be-all and end-all of business. All of our businesses, I don't think any of them really utilize it beyond just tools to help them do their job. To be honest, like I mentioned, if you use it for all your creatives, anyone who's kind of like of that elk will be able to tell that it is fake, and that's not good. But also, I do believe in the next year or so, they're probably going to come down very hard on your marketing usage of AI because it's getting kind of scary. So we can help you with AI too, but it's going to be just more for tools. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, no worries, Stu.
Karen, the Shopify AI has come a long way as well. If you do like AI, if you check the Shopify group, join the Facebook group, and Paul just dropped a post in there. We are launching probably the world's most comprehensive AI execution platform this year as well. So if you get into Connect now, there's some big stuff coming in terms of AI that will actually help you do a ton of stuff in your business. So there's just a bit of a coming soon. Check this space, but there is it's useful when done well, and there's some stuff coming down the pipeline for sure.
Just to clarify, for an example, like we aren't partnered with Shopify. We use Shopify because it's the best platform out there from our experience. Now, as soon as as AI becomes more useful, we will adopt it more and more, and we'll show you guys how we do it. The point of this is like we're going to keep you up to date with what's working now, and if we find AI is the way to go, trust me, guys, we're going to be the first to tell you we need to be using more AI. Slack link, Lee, just join there. I think Chris gave you that. AI is doing Shopify. Karen, my business will be with my brother. We will both have access to. Yeah, look, guys, we're very nonchalant about this. Honestly, if you want to get your brother in, by all means, just pay the one access. We'll let your family come in too. We don't want to kind of screwed you again. It's for us, it's just about having as many people in this as we can, because it's going to allow us to have the most impact. And I'll tell you my business model. The more of you I get to 50K per month, the more of you I can then build websites and charge more for us to make more money. So we need to make you guys succeed so then we can succeed as a business too. So absolutely get in there.
And you're on there if you have business partners, cousins, brothers, sisters, husbands, wives that are part of the business, they get access as well with that one membership.
Yeah. I like the way you guys did the session. It came across honest. Rich, we're probably the most honest people you'll find. So look, there is this thing in our industry, and I know a few of you have spoken to me on our phone, on the phone earlier about like, and I would say about 98% of the conversation. No, sorry. A lot of the conversations I have, people tell me I've been through these people who they told me they'd build my entire business from scratch for me for a couple grand and it didn't work out. And like these kind of things, there is a very nasty image in our industry. And we've experienced it all, we've heard it all. We're trying to be the good side of the coin. We believe that if we do the right thing and I'll be honest, this is why we do this, is to put our faces out there so you can understand who we are and what we're all about. So then you can jump in and you can get the help that you need. But there's these practices I want you to be careful of. If it seems too good to be true, it is. We're not here to build your business. We're just here to say, if you want to build a Shopify business and you want to make it work, awesome. I'm not here to sell you on the idea, but if you want to, then we are here to help support you in doing that by sharing what works. I appreciate the sincerity. No worries. Look, anyone who lies in these businesses, they'll last 2 years and then they'll be out because they'll be done by all kinds of legal ramifications. And honestly, we're just kind of like Paul, I'm going to speak on him as a character. He's a funny guy. He's a great guy. He's more than anything is just a great person, a great human being. He's the guy who runs the show. And when he builds this team, for him, he probably could have got people better than me, but he wanted people who were like-minded in terms of morality. We are here to help people change their lives. For him, this is a very big deal, and he's trying to replicate that with everything he does in the business. You'll notice when you get into the community, there's a strict no dickhead policy. Like, it's all about helping bring each other up, and if you act out like that, we'll have no trouble in saying we don't want your money, go elsewhere, because we're more than just a business, to be honest. We manufacture a range of health food gummies. Happy to help out. What was that about? Did I miss something there? Or was that just a quick pitch, which I don't mind? I'm trying to scroll back to get to the comments, guys. Definitely appreciate sincerity. How did you use the algorithm to target me? Add creative.
Magic.
You'll learn that. You'll literally learn this. Lockie runs our ads. He is also the head coach of Meta. So you're going to learn directly from him. And when you want someone down the track to run your ads, he's the one who's going to do them for you, him and his team. So you'll learn that. Come inside. I'm not going to teach you all about Facebook ads right now, but come inside and learn. Welcome, Meta. How did you blah, blah, blah. Meta have their own algorithms, and we just learned how to abuse them, basically. That's what Meta ads is really all about. Good to hear, Ilko. I'm going to assume that it's Ilko. Is that how I pronounce it? Right. That's perfect. Happy to help out. Whatever I don't know what you want to help out with, but we're happy to help you out. But whatever. I missed what you said about getting people to 50K. I was saying, yes. Well, our thing here is I want to help as many people for as cheap as possible. Obviously, we can't do free, but that's why it's $97 a month. Because the more of you we get in, the more of you will grow, like we did the others, to 50K a month. And just a random number I'm throwing out, just so you know. But when we help you grow, you're going to need our help more hands-on to build these businesses. And that's why it's great for us. We help to nurture the people who are essentially our future clients, because we do a lot of done-for-you work as well as coaching. That's why I said 50K earlier, Rich. But maybe you're asking, there's plenty of people in the circle who are doing 50K and above per month. Someone reached out to me on TikTok. Awesome. As in from our team.
Our Rich team?
Oh, cool. Yeah, lovely. Yeah, they're just part of our team. Look, we got a couple of methods to get people to these shows. That's probably all it is. Hey, Chris, someone like myself, I like the idea, but I have no clue about building a website. Yeah, this is why that's kind of why you want to join things like this. Again, I'm not going to sell you on should you start a Shopify business. I'm just saying if you want to, you need to do these things. And I'm here to make it as easy as possible for you at the most accessible rate for you. So yes, absolutely. If you want to at all be in e-commerce, jump in. It's going to be the best place for you. So you can help me grow into 3PL later. Oh, look, if that's really a goal that you want to be 3PL, then you probably mainly want to be in touch with people who are running e-com businesses at a high level. So definitely, look, we are very much about networking inside there too.
We got 3PL people in the community as well.
Yeah, so Melissa, would this be perfect for us early? I think that's just a reply. Yeah, absolutely. Ilko, look, I'll just be honest, mate. Until you're in the circle and we can verify you, I'm not going to say I'm not making assumptions or anything. But I don't condone, like, just for anyone who's looking out for other messages from others, I can't condone anything apart from what's from our team until everyone's doing it inside the circle and I can kind of fact check things. So just want that to be very clear in terms of facilitating, work with others. But we're more than happy for people to network once you're in the circle. More than happy. I just got to be careful. We've had people screwed over before. Ilko, you look like a good dude. Just being very careful. And am I pronouncing your name by that? Ilko? I need help with that. I know it's Eastern European. They're a little bit hard sometimes. Yes, all good, perfect. What's the benefit of Shopify over sites like Squarespace? Shopify is literally built to sell e-commerce products. It's all about structure and functionality. WordPress, you will get someone who's going to need to spend 10 grand to build your crappy website, and you have to pay them 2 months just to upkeep the website to do a much worse job. They're way harder, way clunkier. They're built for service-based businesses, not product-based businesses. It's better, like Chris McLean said, as a short.
Even
and again,
Squarespace just doesn't have the diversity of apps and plugins and runs like crap.
No, and again, we're not Shopify partners, like affiliates technically, but we don't sell for Shopify. We just use it because we found, like Paul used to build websites pre-Shopify and other platforms, but they built this to be done for it. That's why we adopted it, because it is the best. That's the only reason we say Shopify. Plan eventually. So let me take a breath. Plan eventually. I do, guys. I love that you're asking all the questions. This is what I do.
Don't use WooCommerce, Jason. Yeah. Stay away from WooCommerce and WordPress. Just clunky. It'll be a nightmare. Use Shopify.
Yep.
It's made to measure. Does what it says on the box. Don't try to build a WooCommerce site.
Yeah, definitely not. And the plan is to eventually open a second store, then 3PL, then own warehouse. All right, one step at a time. Let's get you to 50K per month business first, and then we'll start talking the next steps. Although it sounds like you might be a little bit further ahead than others, so I don't mean to be wrong there. Ruth, were you listening to me on my phone, or did you target business on it? We don't listen to the phones. The phones is literally just me and Paul, like SMSing people and calling you. There's no big scheme behind that. We're a very small team. Our ads literally just, we do creatives, and we let the algorithm do the work. And I think with YouTube, you probably type in things like how to grow business on Shopify. That's why we pop up.
But I think that Facebook ads literally says, "Hey, you're receiving this because you've probably been talking to your friends about Shopify and e-commerce, and the algorithm's listening. So here I am." That's how it works these days.
Meta are listening, though. We're not the evil ones; they are. We just utilize what they do.
Not us. We just use the services.
Yeah. I feel so, Carly. I feel like it's such a great experience here tonight. I'd love to hear, and you weren't even one of the guests. So that's awesome. Just
Carly's bringing in 10 people with her too.
You're the best. Hey, look. I'll say to anyone, I'll give you if you get, how do I make this enticing to you? If you get in 2 friends, I'll give you next month free. I'll hold that recording. I'll hold myself to that with this recording. If you got friends, and Carly, I'll give you a year free if you bring 10 people to me. All right, I don't mind. This is all about sharing the love and getting everyone to the help that they need. Okay. Hey, is it all helping? Exactly right, Carly. My partner wants to shop and shopping. Chris already did that. How do you use the algorithm to target? Yeah. Even if we watch video for 20 seconds, yes, interest targeting, exactly. Awesome. I have signed and paid, and yes, 10 in the way. Mwah, love you. All right.
10 months free coming up for Carly. But Chris is paying for that out of his pocket too. Yeah. No, thanks. So well done, Chris.
Oops. Oh, well.
Thanks for throwing that offer in.
All right, guys. Look, I got a couple more minutes. You're the best audience we've had, so I'll give as much time as you guys need. Any more questions, or Ruth, you want to talk about the algorithm a little bit more? I'm down. They're very sneaky, these people, and how they work. Carly, awesome. And we've still got about, how many people are still in this call? I can't see anymore. Damn, we've still got a bunch of you guys. I mean, I'll just go for the people who are still here. I haven't seen comment. Yolande, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Any questions from yourself? You've been here the whole time. How are you feeling? NGA, again, not going to pronounce that. What about yourself? Any questions, guys? Anything you want to clarify? Even if it's a bit more of a personal question. Thanks for the presentation. Good to go. I'll see you inside, Dan, and I'll see you in our Fast Path Plan call. Thank you so much.
I'm just going to stop the live stream, Chris, FYI, and make you host. I'm going to scoot up in a minute.
No worries. All right, I'll keep going here. Greg, anything from you? Liv, I think you asked a couple questions. Thanks for joining along. Rich, you've been active. I'm great to listening today. No worries. We'll probably see you next week, so I'm sure. We get a lot of people who come to these week by week, and then they're like, okay, now I'm ready to take the jump, and that's fine. Love the integrity and true blue Aussie flavor. Just so you know, we serve basically only Aussies and people in New Zealand. That's just because it is a separate market, and we got to focus on that to make sure we can do it well. We do have some people who then go sell to the US and worldwide, but that's another step. But as for us, we serve who we know the most. This is a great webinar. Thank you, Karen. Love to hear it. Tell my boss that. Love your Australian. Born and raised, so I try to be. Integrity, True Blue, just listening. Thanks for a great presentation. I'm gonna really prod those of you see there. Shay, have I seen you ask a question? I see you there. You're good. Okay, we're good. Karen, good. Is it Lee? Lee, how are you doing, man? Any questions from you? What's the best way to make a Shopify store in the App Store?
Target Australian customers.
What was that? Sorry, Chris?
Target Australian customers.
You're going to have a .au anyway. Trust me, no American's going to end up on a .au, maybe 2 or 3 per year. So don't worry too much about that. You're not going to get flooded with bad traffic unless something really wrong is going on. What's the best way to make sure your Shopify store is going to expose Australia? Only more scalpers. Look, this is part of the game. You're going to get people who are just there to waste your time, but it's a numbers game, guys. So we're going to make sure that we convert as good as we can to the real audiences. And when you know your numbers and you say, hey, I spend $1,000, I make 2,000 back. Let's then spend a little bit more money month to month, even though half of them are going to be time wasted. It doesn't matter. Half the people here won't continue working with me. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with even answering your questions because I know there's the other 15 who I will work with, and that's completely fine with me. I'm sure to head off to a UK trip. I'm going to take you up, but timing isn't the best. Look, I understand. Look, for $97 a month, I still reckon come to a couple calls. If you want to hold it off, I think we can get things going even if you're still on a trip. But look, by all means, if you want to wait, go for it. Come in when you are ready. Does AU limits, or if you're worried, if you want to discuss timing as well, we can talk that too. But happy so I'm just kind of forward. No worries, Jason. When you're ready, you will be ready. Thanks so much for the go, Ruth. All right, I'll see you in there. Perfect. Shades is limit to blah blah. AU is just the best if you're running an Australian business. Australians are going to see that and feel a lot more confident. When we're then thinking about going to the US, then it's a different story. We have a US based store. Rich, do you think the hemp and bamboo emporium is a good dropshipping? Look, that's a deeper discussion, Rich, and I think you've got to do a little bit more ideation inside the circle, and you'll come up with a couple ideas, and then we can really chat in the group about, what are some good ideas to start going for. But, I've had someone, this one guy, Will Chen, he started with us a year and a half ago. He came to me and he's like, I sold $500 worth of this last month and I want to really take this to the moon. He sells 2 things: capybara lamps, like the actual capybara animal as a lamp, as a bedside lamp, and a fan, a desk fan. It made no sense to me, but he was passionate. I'm like, all right, man, look, I don't know, but I'll show you how to sell it.
Just before I go, he's a Cappy Cool.
Yeah, it's called Cappy Cool, literally. You can look him up. Literally within 4 or 5 months, he had his first 40K month. Okay, simple as that. But that guy was religious. He came to every coaching call. I think he was just fully focused on that. So he came to everything, implemented everything, asked questions, and that's how he was able to grow. They even did his ads himself just by listening to Lockie. So I'm not going to give you a yes or no off the spot on that, Rich, but that is work to be done from there. More than happy.
Thanks, Chris. I'm going to pop. Thanks, everyone. Amazing turnout tonight. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you inside the circle.
Yes, see you. Is it best to start selling your product in Australia? I highly recommend it, Karen. Yeah, I highly recommend starting Australia. Thanks for today. Thank you for joining in today. It's been a pleasure. Honestly, this is like the most fun session I've had so far. All right, guys. At the moment, we're just kind of asking each other how each other's days are. So, unless there's any more questions about e-commerce, or if you've got questions about the circle, let's get them in now. Otherwise, I'll let you go, and I'll see you on your fast path plan call inside Slack. My business partner is in America. Can I do .com? Look, you can. Yeah, you absolutely can do too. I would recommend just start with AU. It depends. Look, you got to figure out where do you want to sell to. If you want to sell in just .com, do .com. In America, do .com. You can do that. I don't mind if you want to just sell in America because sometimes it makes more sense. But it just makes it'll be a different brand messaging to the Australian side. Karen, bye for now. Jason, saw dinner for the kids. Go get it done. Partner, bye for now. Legends, Rich, see you later. Thank you for today. All right, guys, I am going to end it there. Thanks so much for such a wonderful session, and I'll see hopefully at least 56% of you inside Slack and on a fast path plan call with me in the next 2 to 5 days. All right, peace. Have a good session, and I'll see you inside, guys. Thank you, Roxy. Also, happy birthday, Roxy. I'll send you a personal message, though. I can't believe I didn't know that was your birthday today. All right, ciao.